Alright guys, welcome back to another market view video. Today we'll discuss about Nifty Bank Nifty levels for tomorrow, and we'll also talk about what happened today and what does it mean for the markets coming ahead. We'll also discuss about the US markets, maybe USD INR as well, and crude as well. Alright. So as usual, we'll cover up all these things, right? So in the last few videos, if you remember, I've been talking about this demand zone right here, this cluster of demand in Nifty right here. On the Nifty spot chart as well, I showed you this demand zone right here, this one. So this was the demand zone right here on the Nifty spot chart, right? So now what happened? This demand zone got tested multiple times, right? Yesterday also we got a test, and where did we go back up? As a result of the test, we went back up into this supply right here. Already you see these bunch of candles. This is the supply, and today we are dropping from that supply itself. We opened the gap up into that hourly EMA as well, 50 EMA right here. Right, if you cannot see, I'll just darken this a bit. Alright, so this is 50 EMA. We went back up inside it into this supply right here, and we started to break these intermediate demand zones. Alright, so what I was expecting was not this. What I was expecting was we'll fill out to the top of this range. Alright, so we'll go back up and then maybe we'll see how it builds up. Right now, this hurried down move, it shows that this is a real, probably a real breakdown. Right, this is a breakdown of this demand zone. And if you're continuously watching, if you're a regular viewer, you remember we talked about this demand zone as well when we break down below this one. All right, so this entire thing was the daily demand zone. Now we have come back to the range lows, so I would still not take any positional shots. Why? Because the majority of the space to cover is here, and right now there is not much space left. It will have to wait and see how it reacts around these range lows. All right, so on India 50, if you see, this range low is somewhere right here. Right, I've marked this as well. You see it has come down inside this range here. This is the actual area of demand. This entire block is the daily demand zone, but demand is actually around these levels, which is 16 5 500, 16 550 somewhere. All right, so this is where it might get a bounce. So I still wouldn't short this. Already, although we are breaking down, we have broken down below this base very comfortably. We are sorry, we have gone straight down into this previous base right here. All right, so for shorts, I'll only take a short if the market shows that it's trying to cover up this area as well. All right, otherwise I'll wait for a pullback into this supply right here, this huge supply built up, and then we'll see how we shape up inside this reference range now. So the reference range is from this supply to this demand zone right here, which is 50 16 550. All right, so tomorrow if you open gap down inside this range, you can definitely take a long trade depending on if you get an entry in intraday or not. We can get a sharp bounce till this level. All right, so on Bank Nifty, if you see Bank Nifty again, we were talking about this very strong demand zone. So now what I was expecting was, again, if you see, I was expecting it to test up this supply, and then if it sets up, we would start taking long trades, but that did not happen. We started breaking down below this intermediate demand zone. All right, this one right here, these bunch of candles, and from there on it was a one-way fall, because again, if this starts breaking, this low is already tested multiple times right here. So now we're going straight down into this level right here, which is the previous demand zone. All right, so again, if you see, we are halting at this demand zone. So maybe tomorrow Nifty and Bank Nifty, or tomorrow maybe day after tomorrow, we get some sort of a bounce here. But in Bank Nifty, if this starts to go, then you can take a short for the level of 34,600, this area right here. All right, so this is my most important zone, and on the long side, now this supply again becomes very important. So it can stay in the range as well. It can continue the move down. For longs, I would wait for the range to develop, no immediate longs. And for shorts, obviously, if it bounces up and starts breaking, I'll attempt a short with a smaller size. Right? Now, why with a smaller size? Because we're already fallen very far. Some sort of a climatic move has happened. All right. So let's talk about the other indices as well. Nifty Realty already downtrending. Sorry. Let's talk about Nifty Fmcg. All right, Nifty Fmcg went up into this supply again, and now it's down with the broader market again. FMCG is still strong, but Nifty structure is kind of getting a bit shaky, so we'll wait for some sort of pullback into these supplies again, and then if we get a sideways move, we'll see if the FMCG sector sets up again. And the other one was Nifty Metal. Nifty Metal is down big today. All right, this did not go back up to the supply, which was what I was looking for. So again, it's down big, but again, this entire area is a very strong cluster of demand. So I wouldn't rule out Nifty Metal yet. All right, Nifty IT is continuously breaking down. We talked about this 30,000 level, so it's almost there. All right. Nifty Energy again extended. So Nifty Energy, we also talked about this zone trying to break. So this is also kind of happening. All right, Nifty mid cap also today breaking down into this demand, which is a very, very strong demand, because this demand actually led to the breaking of this supply. All right, so very, very strong demand. Let's see how it reacts tomorrow. Nifty Finance, same thing. It's again very, very weak. This demand zone is breaking down. Nifty Pharma as well, very weak. All right, so it turned around and now we are falling deep. So yesterday I talked about this demand zone not being strong anymore because we are testing it multiple times, and today we are seeing a breakdown again. Nifty Auto as well, still in an uptrending structure, but I want this to happen. This sideways base. All right, all the other sectors mostly are downtrending. Right, so nothing in the market right now. Nifty small cap as well. I'm not sure if I discussed this yesterday, but in my server we talked about this low getting taken out. Basically, this demand going for a toss. Now we are headed into this region of imbalance, so this can be a quick fall, and this is how things are shaping up right now. So this structure doesn't really look good for Nifty small cap. I hope we get some stability around here and start forming a much bigger range. All right, essentially what the markets are doing right now is they're forming a range below the previous one. All right, so this was just an extension, we get reversed, and now we are back sharply inside the previous area of congestion. Where will I start dumping my long-term investments as well? If this demand zone starts to go, I'm out of the market. All right, because now I see that there is all this space left to be exploited. Right, so it can come down straight to 8,100 something. So this demand is very, very key for me, below which I will start reducing size on whatever investment I have. All right, so let's talk about USD INR as well. Since I already mentioned it, one thing which is happening is Nifty is falling and USD INR is also falling. All right, so this might indicate that this fall is mostly because of the US market. All right, because since the US market is falling, we are also falling. Otherwise, we're very strong when the US market is not falling. All right, so USD INR is still in an uptrending structure. So until it remains in an uptrending structure that is above this demand zone, cannot really call it bearish right now. Right? Bearishness comes like this: lower lows and lower highs. So still in an uptrending structure, we might see a rebound tomorrow, which means more fall in the market. So let's see. This demand zone is very important, like I discussed. This one right here, the one on the hourly chart, very, very important zone right here. If this starts to go, then there is definitely some space to be covered here, which can happen very, very quickly. All right, and crude oil as well. If you see, crude oil has returned to its uptrending structure and is trying to break out again, which is surprising. If you see, this range is completely traded now. All right, and now we are forming a launching base, so crude oil can shoot up to this supply anytime soon, right here, which is around 112 level. All right, so be a bit careful. All things are pointing towards a downtick in the market, right? Um, but I still wouldn't short, because you know this is a very heavy area of demand. All right, so this is it for today's video. I'll see you again tomorrow at this around the same time, and let me know if you have any doubts in the comments, and kindly like, share and subscribe. I'll see you guys tomorrow.